Pink Floyd with another brick in the wall on Steve Gorman Rocks. The World Cup is my favorite sporting event, bar none. It's been that way as long as I can remember. And the U.S. kicked off against Wales today. We'll talk about the game on Steve Gorman Sports coming up in a few minutes. Not the expectation I had. It's better than loss, but boy, sometimes a draw feels like a loss. That's coming up right after Phil Collins. But first, here's Heart Straight On. This is Steve Gorman Rocks on 107.7 The Bone.
Hello, I'm Nathan.
How you doing? Sorry about that.
Okay. So, we're going 19 minutes to destination. 8.1 miles, and I think we will have Phil Collins by the time we get there. On 107.7 The Bone. I've got this camera, so I just registered it. I live in Mill Valley. Well, you don't. I guess you don't have to, but you know, that way it'll give the passengers a prompt that says, you know, that it's a camera and that it records. But they don't. It doesn't have to. I can turn it off. I'm an EMT. I live in Mill Valley. I worked for the city of San Francisco for 10 years, Parks and Recreation. Except COVID, which what happens is the city for their policy was if you don't work for a year, and they'd asked me. I didn't work for a year, but you know, they want me to come back. Things like bridge toll. Bridge toll is like $8, but you know, you guys are paying it. So basically, the way it works out with Uber is, if I was driving anywhere, I would have to have a passenger, and the passenger would cover bridge toll. So Uber is not actually like. I guess they're losing money. I mean, you know, the way I see it, but it changes. So with billions of dollars in a company that size, there's not, you either wait it out or, you know, there's not much you can do. Sometimes it's gonna not in the long run. How are you guys all doing tonight? Doing tonight? Sausalito's wonderful. I was in that bar. The Anchor. That's the bar. The hole in the wall. No name. Schmittings is on Anchor Street, Anchor Drive, whatever. It's down by Bridgeway. So I know Sean from the Seafood Peddler. I may not be able to remember his name. I don't know his last name. So I've lived in Mill Valley, so I know Sausalito. I parked cars at the Altamira back in the day, and that was the destination for Prince before he passed away. Because right now, it used to be a restaurant, but right now that location on Princess Street, would you believe, in Sausalito, if you don't know, is a rehabilitation facility. Prince fan? Yeah. I never really was. I know people who were, are. It's just a bad way to die, I guess. I don't know. I was in an elevator and was drugs, but I don't know anything else. I have a picture disc with Prince on it, Purple Rain. Nice record. motorcycle on both sides. My nephew's name is Colin, but he is a twin, so Colin is not a twin, sorry. My brother, you know, he lives in Indiana, so I don't know them very well, but I guess you could say I don't see them a lot. It's really what it is. Here's Phil Colin. But Bill, you know, he's retired. I was born in Indianapolis, so he's my half brother, and he had twins, and so Carson and Connor, and then came Colin. So Colin was married. Yeah, that's what confuses me. I can't even, you know, it's just like, damn it. Bill. But I know them, so it's So that's the Salesforce building. I gave some of the workers, I think, who were Japanese, but they work for Salesforce. I'm not sure I have given rides to Salesforce employees previously. Mark Benioff, right? Hours. It'll be 14 minutes to your destination. 5 miles.
Well, Tommy's really funny about it. They like tease each other a lot, but are like, I think like a little bit witty about it, so it's like kind of fun.
There's a Ramses exhibit still at the Young. Y'all live in the city? What? Oh, cool. I paid more than 30 bucks because I went to the De Young and I saw the rim. And I had the curator from the Egyptian Museum sign the Ramses book, so that was another $16. It's a good exhibit, but I don't know. The Ramses isn't actually there.
An AI that could be useful for anything. It will also focus more on the human brain as attempting to distill into it.
And by the way, we have no record of having a record to talk about that.
Got Audible, so they have the history of Egypt.
He had one of his sons
So I guess it was
tied to the bottom,
Egyptian
so the
gold.
workman would be doubly careful who
They're
reckoned him
talking about
out.
them.
We had 50 sons. I think we lost one of them.
I think the mummified cat was enough. Or, well, wants to believe in the afterlife
It's got a quarry and a red.
when you have to. Yes.
First, what's the material? Pink granite. All obelisks come from the same quarry at Aswan. This was a major site of pink granite. We even call it Aswan granite. The reason you need granite is if you're going to build a really big obelisk, you need a stone with internal structural strength that can support its own weight. When you pivot it, you don't want it just to break, like a piece of macaroni if you made it too long. It would break. So it has to be granite. All the obelisks you see in Egypt are granite from the same quarry. It's hard to give you a feeling of just how big they are. There is an unfinished obelisk in the quarry at Aswan. It weighs more than 1,000 tons. It's as big as 2 generators. Incredible. No mechanical devices, no hydraulic jacks to move these things. But let me tell you how they bought it. They didn't do it with chisels. They pounded it out with a stone that's even harder than Aswan granite, dolomite. Now, this was a job that nobody wanted, I'm quite sure. Probably used as punishment for prisoners. And what they had, say you pick a piece of stone, the stonemason comes, the expert, and he chooses a site in the quarry that looks like it's flaw-free, no flaws. You're not going to have any cracks. And he probably marks it out in a black ink where the obelisk is going to be. Right? Marks it out on the wall. And then you take your prisoners and you set them to work pounding out the obelisk. They would take their dolomite ball and just keep dropping it. Boom, 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 boom. Dropping it, picking it up. It would kind of bounce off the obelisk. I've tried these things. It would bounce off the obelisk, and they would do that all day long. And we can tell by the grooves in the unfinished obelisk, you know, that these guys were like shoulder to shoulder, just pounding. And there's no question about it. You're going to get an awful lot of dust in your lungs, just breathing it in. Pink granite dust. Oh, but that's how they would quarry an obelisk, just pounding and pounding. It's remarkable. There are no chisel marks on the unfinished obelisk. It's a marvel to look at. You know, I love unfinished things, as I said, because you learn more about an unfinished object than a finished one. You see how it was built. It's left in the middle. There are no chisel marks, as I say. What they must have done
Generally,
is after they pounded it free on a few sides, you have to free it on the bottom.
orange car.
How do you get the thing free on the bottom? And that's why they had to dig caverns. They probably took these dolomite balls and threw it against the thing, just kind of horizontally, dropping it against the side, chiseling out caverns. So you can imagine the miners, so to speak, the guys working on the obelisk, going into a cavern underneath the obelisk. So they found out about the obelisk, and then you kind of shore it up maybe in a couple of places and carve the rest. Amazing job. And Hatchet says she did 2 in 7 months.
But they weren't like there were
Carving, transporting, all in 7 months. Incredible. Now, how do you move it? They were pulled on rollers. They probably had lots of logs serving as rollers, and eventually they would get the obelisk onto a roller, and with ropes, roll it along. The roller would move, maybe you put the log in front as you're using the log, keep moving in front, moving your obelisk, and they'd move it down to the side of the Nile, to the banks of the Nile. Now imagine the obelisk lying on its side, on the bank,
That's why they really
parallel to the water, to the Nile. What they next did, and this is what an ancient historian says, we have no record of the Egyptians about how they erected obelisks. They next dug a canal under the obelisk. So imagine the obelisk is kind of like a bridge across the canal. It's going at right angles to the canal that's been dug. And you bring in a barge in this canal under the obelisk. The barge is loaded with blocks of granite, maybe equal to the obelisk in weight. And you start removing the blocks of granite from the barge. So the barge is starting to raise up underneath the obelisk. Till finally, you get the obelisk floating on the barge. And you pivot it on onto the barge. And
Straight up.
now Hatcherson, on her temple, if you'll remember, shows the transportation of one of the
So it's
obelisks.
7
Two of the
minutes.
obelisks on one barge. They're end to end. And there were boats towing them. Now, 27 boats for Hatcherson's Cove. That's very popular. Now, I think one of the things that makes this all possible is the granite quarry is in the south.
Well, me, Katie,
It's in S1. So when you're floating the obelisk, it's going with the current. It's going north to the site to feed wherever it's going. So it's a lot easier to move your obelisk with the current.
No, that's not true. They're friends now.
So that's how obelisks were
Katie and
probably
Maria are definitely friends.
transported to the
Kylie's
site.
scared of Maria.
Now, how do you erect an obelisk?
Like, she's just crazy and all that.
You know, it bothers us a lot. The Egyptians didn't have any architectural requirements. You know, we have no record of building pyramids, how they built pyramids. Don't have any instructions how to build a
And
temple.
Abba now
or
is
to-
like, you're like running at a party, like,
How they built- how they erect an obelisk.
like dancing.
A couple of theories. I'll tell you the best.
You're like running around.
It's a ramp theory.
8 million things. And Kylie's just like,
You build a ramp
guys, can I go?
right next to the site where you want the obelisk to be erected.
What were you guys
And the ramp
doing?
is really,
Art of
in a sense, a double-sided ramp. You can have it going
a lot
up,
of dumb shit.
and then you can have it going down. And you pull your obelisk
Like, you
up the
ran on
ramp,
your face or
and then you
your
slide it
hands
down
as well.
onto its base where you want it to be erected.
I like
So
that,
the
you would
obelisk is
never.
lying on its side on a ramp.
But me, Marina gave
Its
all
edge
the
is on the base,
It's
but it's still at like maybe a 45-degree angle, something like that. It's not upright yet. Now, this is our best theory about how they erected an
like
obelisk.
football.
It's at 45 degrees so far, on its pedestal, but it's not
Which is
erected.
like fine on my phone.
What do you think next?
Shit like that, but
You tie
it's like I
ropes
was running around.
to the top of the obelisk,
Kylie was nervous.
and you have lots of guys pulling. Now remember, the Egyptians didn't use draft animals for heavy ropes. These are
Kylie would always
men
order pizza to see
pulling on ropes, trying to get the obelisk.
Which is so fun.
This is a theory, but it's probably how it was done. Very
Fireball.
recently, just a couple of years ago, there was a television special
Yeah,
where
all
an Egyptologist tried to actually erect an
You
obelisk.
have to flip me over and then the
It's a wonderful show. It's done by an archaeologist, an Egyptologist, Mark Lehner, good man, good Egyptologist, and he's done 2 shows that are similar, and it's quite interesting to see him work. He's kind of an experimental archaeologist. He tries to do stuff to figure out how it's done that way, which I love. He did one show called This Old Pyramid, where he tried to build a little tiny...
Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy
finally
discount by
discovered
combining
it.
motorcycle,
Yeah,
RV,
it's on
boat,
forever.
ATV, and more.
It's all
All
just
your
like
protection in one
everything.
place. Bundle and save.
Already.
Progressive.com.
Steve Gorman
Show, also known as Steve Gorman Rocks.
And then
Nights on
Marina would go
1077
on balcony and
Home.
I'd be in the barn. Well, that's what she was telling me.
It's time to decipher Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy was country from Guns. Also, there was a, you know, Ozzy, you listen to music very much, or? Okay. Well, he had a technician who was with his daughter named Nathan, same as me. Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses were here, or were playing a lot this summer. Axl was born in Indiana, so I was born in Indiana, but he's older than I am, about 12, 15 years. So, anyways, he burned up in a fire, a black, because he was a sound engineer, you could say technician. There were 57 firefighters and 2 cats, as far as I know, and maybe another, I don't know how many other, but his daughter, I think her name is Sarah, survived it. She's okay. But, you know, that's... Especially if you're incinerated. I met a guitarist that plays with Guns N' Roses. His name is Richard Fortes. somehow talking about a vault with guitars, I think, right? It's also talking about depression and playing music. It's covered in tattoos, black hair. And, I think he had a selfie to picture too. I sent it to my brother. My brother Bill, that's mentioned to you, my father of my nephews. Anyways, that would be fun. I have a guitar, so still having technical issues with it for some reason. Took it into a place called Bananas and Party. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. But unfortunately, I almost bumped into a piano, really expensive piano, with my amplifier. This huge, heavy Black Star amplifier. So, don't bump into my piano. It's like, okay, at least it's not your piano, which, you know, is what I said, but nothing happened to it, so breath of fresh air, I'll breathe easy. Well, 1 minute. Colin, you all have a nice evening. Beautiful San Francisco.
Yeah. Guns N' Roses with the cover of Paul McCartney's Live and Let Die. By far, without question, the greatest James Bond theme song of all time. Either Paul's version or Guns N' Roses. I don't care. I'll take it over any other James Bond song. But a quick shout out to Goldfinger. That was always kind of a badass tune. Shirley Bassey getting after it about Otis Redding with
1356.
my former band, the Black Crowes.
On the left or the right?
Did it our way. It sounded like this. 7-7.
Right. Okay. This way is good.
Back again.
Good night. Have a nice evening.
Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Compass always points. Put
should use. But Casey, I'd probably reject the premise of your question. I think even in the town hall that the former vice president did.
The granddaughter lives in Seoul with her parents, and fun fact, the granddaughter's father, so the grandmother's son, was actually played by the real son of Go Doo-sim.
Really?
Yeah. You know how, the son...
Oh, is he also an actor?
He's also an actor, and he gets into an accident, so the parents cannot take care of Eungi for a while. That's why Eungi goes to Go Doo-sim and Chuni and lives with her for 2 weeks. And it's just so cute looking at their relationship, because Eungi is not like a very quiet or super nice child. Like, she says her stuff to Granny, and Granny says her stuff. So I really like their relationship, and it's also really sad, this episode.
Yeah, because when the mom comes to drop her daughter off, her Eungi off, she obviously doesn't tell the grandma that her son got into an accident, because she would worry and she would leave everything behind in Jeju and come to Seoul, and she didn't want her to worry, so she also told her daughter not to say anything to grandma, but she gets caught. And just the whole thing is just
they go to Seoul, and like the son's in the hospital, he can barely talk, but it's so sad because Eungi doesn't like cry all the time. Like, she's always like, oh, it's okay, like, Dad told me when animals die and humans die, they all become stars, I'm not sad. Which makes the viewers sadder. Like, hello, can you just cry instead, Eungi? Like,
and she read in a book or something where she said that if you pray somewhere where you can see like 100 moons, your wish will come true, right? And it was so cute because they went up to, they were thinking like, where can you see 100 moons? But they went up to like the valley / mountain, and they look at the water, and 오징어 boats. So the boats that catch squid, they have really bright lights on Jeju-do. They catch a lot of squid. So they were all in the ocean, and you know, she was amazed because to the little baby it does look like moon. So,
and then they're like praying.
That was so cute. Did you cry watching Our Blues? Oh, of course, like every episode. Especially the last 2 episodes, the story with Lee Byung-hun and his mom. Really? You have no heart if you didn't cry watching that. Are you serious?
I remember watching Our Blues eating fire noodles, the extra spicy fire noodles in Boston, and I was like, oh, is she gonna die? Oh, or not? Cool.
Stop talking. It was, oh my gosh.
But that was my favorite episode. What about you?
My favorite episodes were the ones with Han Ji-min and Kim Woo-bin, aka Young-ok and Jeong-jun. Young-ok was played by Han Ji-min. Their love interest was my favorite. This was actually Kim Woo-bin's first drama comeback in 6 years. And his real life girlfriend also comes out in the drama, but in a different love line. Shin Mina comes out as
Lee Byung-hun's love interest.
So it was quite a, it made news headlines. They were like, oh, they're starring the drama together, and people thought they would be a love interest together in the drama, but they played different couples. But they're both cool about it. Like, it's fine. But they actually do come across each other in episode 6. But
they do.
They do, just for a little bit.
Can I be honest?
What?
I didn't watch like 2 episodes from Our Blues. 2, 3,
probably missed that.
Yeah, I missed the lovey-dovey ones. So I missed Young-ok and Jeong-jun, and I missed Lee Byung-hun and Shin Mina. It's really good though. It's not just love, it's much more complex than that. It's not lovey-dovey at all. And Yunho says, 냉혈한이다, 냉혈한. I'm a cold-blooded. Yes. 이거 옷도 파란색이잖아요. 피색. This is the color of my blood.
You're 창백해. The color of blood is blue for Iris. And also, at first, I didn't have a good impression of Young-ok because they kind of portray her to be like a player, because she's always getting
texts and calls, and we see a glimpse of the text, and it's like, when are you coming back? You said you loved me. You said you would come back for me. You're a liar. Like, you know. And I was like, oh, because she first keeps rejecting Jeongjun.
Right,
you know, she tells him not to come too close to her, not to get close, because he's gonna get hurt. So I was like, okay, maybe she's a player. Maybe she has another like husband in Seoul or something. But later you find out it's because she actually has a sister with Down syndrome, and every man that she's met up until now have all abandoned her after they found out about her sister. So she kind of like, you know, put up a wall and didn't want to fall in love. Maybe she thought that she didn't deserve to be in love because she has her sister to take care of for the rest of her life. But Jeongjun, being the sweetheart he is, he loved her sister, and they got along really well and took really good care of her. It was a happy ending. It was a happy ending, and it was sad too because it was so realistic. And Han Jimin was kind of like bullied kind of at first by the other divers because she kept so many secrets. So then like all the other like divers, like the grandmothers, they were all like, why are you like so like alone? Why won't you like tell us anything? Why are you always lying? But she had all of her problems. She just wanted to earn some money. She just wanted to stay quiet, keep quiet, and just live happily with her sister. But yeah, it was realistic, it was sad, it was lovey-dovey, but I can cope with this amount of lovey-doveyness. Okay, good. Yes, and you should rewatch the episodes you missed. Yes, I will. Anyways, before we listen to another song, we have another quiz. Yep. So in Jeju we speak this certain accent that is kind of different from the Seoul accents, or like just like the Koreans that we would use. So in Jeju, what word is used to call the elderly regardless of their gender? 1. 삼촌, number 2. 아저씨, number 3. 할매, or number 4. 아방. Okay, so regardless of the gender, what word do they use in Jeju-do? If you know, please leave them on the YouTube chat. We'll be right back. This is Winter and Ning Ning on the track with Once Again. I just want to talk about you. 별이 뜨는 것처럼 너는 빛이 난다고. 무지개 같은 곳에 너와 함께 난 달려갈게. Alright, I ain't trying to realize. Follow 서로에게 정한 시간 위로 따스해져가는 그 손길로 변함없이 난 여기 over. Alright, I will tell me who's again. 햇살이 빛나도록 비추고 있어. 우리 서로 지켜줄 거야. Oh, you, 'cause I'm in love with you. 너와 내가 꿈꾸던 그곳 언젠가 난 갈 거야. 너의 손을 잡고서 수많았던 후회들로 아파했던 날들 속에 when
he is leaving the company. While Musk, well, this afternoon, he tweeted, quote, "Hope all judgy hall monitors stay on other platforms, please, I'm begging you." Okay, so that's where we are. So Twitter with no hall monitors. What will that mean for the social media giant, and frankly, for the rest of us? Back with me now, Margaret Talib, Paul Bagala, and Miles Taylor. Thank you guys for coming back. Look, I want to say, first of all, Twitter is not real life. It's very important that we recognize that and underscore it. But it has become kind of this echo chamber for the political media narrative, and a place that campaigns spend a lot of time, certainly reporters. I mean, you could argue reporters spend too much time on Twitter, but it has become a source of conversation. And Paul, let me put this to you, because I feel like there actually are some Democrats who maybe privately rooting for Donald Trump to actually start using the Twitter account he received back yesterday. But I'm wondering, do you think it matters? Does it have an impact if Donald Trump starts tweeting again?
I don't think that it is. It's the only social media I've ever been on, so it's overpopulated with politicos. Seriously, like hacks. I
don't want to ask you how old you are.
The very first tweet I ever received, seconds after I joined the platform, a guy wrote to me on Twitter and said, "Hey, Bagala, why don't you drink rat poison and jump in a wood chipper?"
Now, that's actually pretty kind.
Now, that shows that I can't take a hit, right? So I've stayed on it for 10 years. I don't think Mr. Trump gets back on it. It undermines his investment in this right-wing group that he's formed. If he doesn't, he loses the big platform. I, for one, couldn't care less. I've been much less on Twitter since Mr. Musk decided it needs a little more anger and vitriol and divisiveness, and it's been good for my blood pressure. So I don't miss it.
And trying to imagine how they did it. Didn't quite succeed. I mean, learn some.
Everything is okay right now.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 40860552666 is not available. The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time.
Yes, Cristobal?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nathan.
Pick me up.
21 minutes to Headlands Court, Sausalito.
You got it.
Which was where I'm going.
Oh, really?
Home.
We're celebrating, man.
Yes, I hadn't even entered a destination for some reason. We've got...
Where's home for you?
Yeah. Mill Valley?
Oh, awesome. We're going the same way.
We've got Led Zeppelin, unless you have any ideas.
No, Led Zeppelin's dope, man.
That will be 1979.
I'm not complaining one bit.
So, this is nice. I've never actually been here before.
All these houses have really nice views looking back into San Francisco.
Yeah, no, I noticed that. It's probably better during the day, I bet, too.
If you're like at 5 or 6 p.m., you see the golden hour where basically all turns into gold. No reflections from the sun.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I was thinking about that, the blood moon. I was up on the hill in after this during this summer, and so I had my drone and I went up over the city and I was thinking about that too. I was looking at the stills that I took. So this drone has a shutter speed of 1 to 5 8,000ths of a second.
Oh, so what kind of pictures do you get? Like high def with that?
Well, that is a 12K photograph. That was
I don't know if I've ever seen a 12K photograph.
Yeah. So it's cinematography. It's photography. So I don't have that drone anymore. It's gone. But that was a DJI Mavic 2. So everything's okay, you know. But I wind up with a camera that's even better for a lot more money, but it's a Hasselblad. So it's the same drone, but the Hasselblad camera is a Swedish camera, and it's even faster shutter speed, okay, but the camera too. So these drone cameras, they're basically kind of complicated, but they have sensors, and what you wind up with is video, stills, and more. You've got all sorts of technology going on, so you know, you can fly patterns, stitch together high resolution images, and it'll even, you know, tilt itself. This new one, pretty impressive.
What do you do with that? Like,
what do I do with it?
Recreational as a hobby, or?
Well, I've had it for about 2.5 years, and so I did some shooting with a band in Sonoma. We did about 4 videos with them. I did, and they're poor man's whiskey. So, but then I did the rest of it is I did some skateboarding with the other one, with the old one. That's well, you know, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's probably pretty cool too.
That, you know, so I've got equipment now, but you know, none of it's monetized. So you know, it's just primarily for, I'm an EMT, and you know, basically I was in Oakland the other day flying at Lake Merritt with the new one, and wow, a police officer behind me, and there was a fire, Yeah, in Oakland, and I was up there and I was taking pictures of it. It's on my YouTube channel, but so I worked Fleet Week. I didn't work for. I volunteered for Fleet Week. It was a lot of fun. Out at the gates. Yeah, you couldn't actually see the Blue Angels. It wasn't my fault, but yeah, no, I could see them. It's just maybe it would have been better. My friend is Roger, is a Hornet pilot, F-18 Hornet pilot. He's a commander, but he isn't quite. He was this time last year. I saw a picture of something. He was flying commercial airliners out of Afghanistan with refugees on it.
Oh, interesting. Oh, when all that was
last year at this time. The movie Top Gun. I watched it on Memorial Day, and so after I watched it, there was a few weeks there, and then I actually contacted him. You know, I'd been flying my drone at Mavericks once, and so anyways,
watching servers?
Yeah, basically I was thinking about it, you know, watching the surfers, not capturing them okay. And then I decided, you know, there was something in the news, I guess, Nas Lamore, the reason for me to contact him, but Nas Lamore was the naval base, and actually my brother's wife's brother-in-law and Roger used to be stationed at Nas Lamore for a period of time.
Oh, really?
They didn't actually know one another okay. But there was a pilot that died after I watched Top Gun. And so I contacted Roger. I just want to know how he is because, you know, this Hornet pilot was flying southeast and his plane was not. I don't know why. I still have a photograph from that day because that was the day I was flying at Mavericks. Okay, and so, anyways, he sends me back a message on email and he says, "I'm okay. I'm flying commercial Southwest, and his kids had COVID, so I guess it was a story about boogers." But I haven't heard back from him. The second time I sent him an email right now, which was during Fleet Week actually. Like, where is he? So, and now, what? Jimmy Page actually was in Japan.
Was it Japan?
Japan, yeah. Apparently he was playing the guitar in Japan. But I think that was after the Shinzo Abe was assassinated. I have a nice box set of Led Zeppelin from way back. I think it was something like Brussels. I bought this summer, and I have a record player. So the story is, I had a Kenwood record player until recently. I was just kind of buying albums, records, I even have a cabinet of records upstairs, but it's like from New Jersey. The cabinet's from New Jersey. The records, I can't even get into it because it's like broken closed. It's like it's impossible. So my record player, the Kenwood, which I bought, $60 on Craigslist from Sonoma, the pallet broke.
Oh. Okay.
And that was the night before I was going to this concert at the Warfield, and then it would have been, actually it might have been the night before, that night. So I went to the Warfield to see a band called Pussifer, and then Bob Weir's birthday was the next night. So that's when I remembered that's how I remembered the Kenwood record player broke. Because I put Mickey Hart's new album, not his really new one, but the second new record on, and now I have his new CD. And so I like music, and that's when the record player broke. I basically took it apart. Somehow or another, I think it's broken, but there's a band that goes around the turntable.
Yeah.
And so the way it is on that one, the palette, I put it back together, it just wobbles. And,
So you put it back together, what happened?
I couldn't quite make it stop. It was like a wobble.
Did you replace the band, or?
Yeah, the band is fine. It's somehow when I put the palette back down, the plate wobbles. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's not necessarily broken.
Yeah,
It's probably when I took it off,
record players,
something underneath it.
Yeah, you might want to just take the whole plate off and see if there's anything weird that either actually even went.
Well, what
drop and put it down.
What happens is it's like the center pin, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, I put it down, but somehow when it's wobbling, I looked at the whole part.
Did you pick it up at all?
I took it off.
Sometimes when you do that, I would just take it off again, double check to make sure. Sometimes there's a belt band around there, almost like a washer, and sometimes that isn't there. If it's been a long time, let's say 10, 20 years, you'll get a little bit of lint that'll stick under there, and you pull it up and put it right back down.
Yeah.
And it'll make it off keel by like a 16th of an inch, and that's enough for you to get a wobbler on your plate.
Okay.
Yeah, check my plate. Something.
Yeah, no, I actually what happened was I couldn't get it to work myself, but it still works. I
Oh, you don't have that like woundy.
Well, I'm just gonna have to figure it out, because when I put a record on it, it'll wobble and it'll start wobbling more, or it shakes. So I wound up with a new turntable.
Okay.
So it's okay. I have a Tia, which is Japanese, and I bought it on Craigslist for $100. So it's a good deal because it's like a $300 turntable, which is puts the Kenwood pretty much out of commission. And so it's got like anything I need. It's got actually a USB port in the back. I'm trying to figure out, because it's really far away from my computer, if I can take a USB-B, I think it is, and Wi-Fi it or Bluetooth it to the computer. I'm sure it's possible with some sort of an amplifier. Well, that's what the port is for, right? It's like some of the newer TIAC will have a Bluetooth port, or a Bluetooth for the computer, but this is actually a port that directly cables into a computer. So what I'm saying is, I was talking to someone last night and said, a dongle, that doesn't happen, you can't do that. So I was looking on it, and supposedly there might be something, probably you could just jerry-rig it, into like an amplifier of some sort for the Wi-Fi, right?
I have old Tectonics right there. So none of that existed.
Definitely for records. I don't know what the difference would be, because technically it's direct, right? This has like a whole direct idea, and I don't know that much about it, but you could record it with a microphone, and I don't know what difference that would be, but home theater and audio files, so I don't know. Weird. The Kenwood. So the rest of the story, like that day, I'm telling you about this pilot that died, right? I was Mavericks, right? That was like the first time I've been at Mavericks. I have a friend who lives there, Half Moon Bay, and so I remember the whole day, but it's weird because when I drove a person from, was it, Taiwan. So she's from Taiwan. So she gets into the car from the hospital. I was like, well, I'm AMD. It's kind of rude. We have this conversation. I say, where are you from? And she says, Taiwan. And then I said, oh, and for some reason, I said, well, something about, I was thinking about the president of China. And I said something about, you know, because my mother went to Harvard. So basically, Xi Jinping's daughter went to Harvard. And her name in Chinese means little wood. So somehow or another, she's like coming back from the hospital. She's in a bad mood. And she goes, well, China is our enemy. And why did you say that or something? She was not happy that I would mention Xi Jinping, someone who was from Taiwan. And so she'd been from Taiwan 20 years ago, right? She lived here for 20 years. I mean, we had enough time for the conversation. And so I have 7 minutes, so I'm going to tell you this whole story. And so she gets out of the car, and then I deliver a guy playing golf, and then I wind up at Stanford. So I was at Stanford. Actually, I was right before. I can't count. It's not secret. And I was at Stanford, and this passenger was from Sweden, and she was working with Ericsson phones. So I was at Stanford, and I was at a nuclear research facility, okay? And it says something about nuclear, and I was at Nathan and Abbott Street, and I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about Gregory Abbott because he was like, you know, going on and on about pure evil and revolving. And I don't like that. You know, I don't like the Republican Party for that matter. And so I'm sitting there, and like, it's weird because, you know, she's from Sweden, and so this pilot like winds up. I mean, I literally, when I was at Mavericks, it was like supposedly the plane crashes at the same time when I'm flying, you know, out over the basically not capturing surface, and so then so that, you know, triggers me to contact my friend Roger. I haven't seen for a long time, but it was more like I was scheduled to work at Mavericks, which is basically something different, but it was like 2 weeks later. So my friend Matthew lives there in Half Moon Bay, and so I made this phone call. You know, I was at the Burger King. I was like, you see or remember anything? I want an Impossible Whopper, and so I eat the vegetarian Whopper, and you know, Matt DeToom texts me back, and it's like right in the middle of this flight, you know, that first time I've ever flown over water at the surfers and everything. And Matthew DeToom writes me back and says, oh, I'm leaving for Turkey. So he's like taking a plane out of there, and he says, you can stop by for a half hour or so. And I was like, well, no, I'm just going to go home, and I sent him the video clip, right? And so now it's 4 minutes. And so it was just a long summer, but it's just weird incident. Nancy Pelosi is going to Taiwan, and you know, now of course Kamala Harris is trying to calm things down with the Koreans, and then of course you have what's happened with Nancy Pelosi's husband, which started out in the summer with him getting pulled over for DUI, and I was like, didn't even know who he was, and then, you know, I wound up thinking about that video clip. Next thing you know, this guy is, David LePage, is assaulting him with a hammer in their own house, and so that's just bad. And so, I don't know, but she steps down, and the Speaker of the House, then you wind up with something that hopefully won't be Kevin McCarthy, but so yeah, I mean, my mother met Joe Biden once, and she dated someone who was related, sort of, not directly to Alan Cranston. So I met Alan Cranston once, and he went to Stanford. He would have been the president at some point, but he was exactly elected. He was running, and so that's just. He died, I think, in 2001, but so it's 2 minutes. We'll be up on 240 Headlands Court.
Yeah, we're going to take this all the way up to Dome.
So the rest of my story is that I live here in Strawberry. My brother is an attorney, and my mother is
I
not.
probably look at your house from my house.
Oh, good, yeah.
I'm on the top of the hill.
So I just go straight.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Just go straight all the way up.
Yeah, I live with my mother, but she is on her second round of hospice, so technically she's not expected to walk anymore, and so it's just 2 rounds of hospice when 6 months is pretty much the limit of hospice. It's the beginning of the second 6 months, so it's difficult for me, but it is with everybody, life is a construct. So we will be up to 240 Headlands in 1 minute. Just amazing. Okay, I had a friend who used to live up here, Matthew Fenn. I went to Tamalpais High School. I don't know, did you live around?
No, I've lived in the city in South San Jose. Years before that was in the city for probably 10 years. We just moved up here.
I worked for Parks and Rec for 10 years, but COVID managed to separate me after not working for a year, and they want me to come back. So it's no big deal, but I definitely, so Matt Fenn lived up here with his brother, and I think he writes books. He's an author. So you are nearly home. That was good for me, because I could have wound up anywhere. I mean, I didn't actually enter a destination. I would have gone home eventually. Denver's a good company. I met someone who knows Stella Kozrovsky.
Daria lives up in north of Fairfax.
North of Fairfax? I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah.
North of Fairfax.
You see those 2 lights on the right-hand side? It's perfectly fine.
Okay. Good. Is that it? A little further? Okay.
Have a good night.
Good night, Christabel.
3863. That's Amerifactors, 800.
Prices dropping mean upgrade your home.
So then, what makes me proud is to help a woman who was desperate, who wouldn't.
Heard about Dynavite nutritional supplement? I thought, why not? Couldn't hurt. We literally tried everything else. Our dog quickly took to it, and after a couple of weeks of adding Dynavite to his food, we noticed a big difference. Our little Gizmo's coat was shinier, and he almost completely stopped shedding and itching. I can't wait to see how well it helps him with his allergies as the seasons change, and he's in the yard more. I'm so glad I tried Dynavite.
My dog smelled so bad and scratched herself constantly. We bathed, sprayed, and bathed her again, but no results. And then I heard about Dynavite supplements for gut health, and all of the reviews sounded just like my Bella. After just 2 weeks, she had major improvements with the smell, and no more scratching or dragging her stomach across the carpet, and her coat is more beautiful than ever.
Happier with every bite, over 1 million pets helped with Dynavite.
Dell Technologies Black Friday event has arrived with select deals on top tech to power business productivity. The savings start now with up to 50% off select performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, including free shipping on everything. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for Black Friday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
What's your least favorite season? Now, if you're like me, it's cold and flu season, so get relief from it this year with Mucinex DM. With cough and chest congestion relief for 12 hours in just 1 dose, that's 3 times longer than 4-hour products. Mucinex DM makes any season comeback season, even cold and flu season. Get 3 times the relief in just 1 dose with Mucinex DM. It couldn't be simpler. Nothing lasts longer among over-the-counter cough and cold remedies. Mucinex DM provides 12 hours of relief for chest congestion and cough, day or night. Use as directed.
A ring shimmering with 3 blue sapphires for the one who's never left your side. A gold necklace with a lavender gemstone for your dearest friend. A romantic diamond bracelet for a new love. At Shane Company, we create treasures for the people you treasure. With the widest selection of fine jewelry, it'll be easy to find magical holiday gifts for your family and friends. We know your gift represents your love. That's why we put so much care into everything we make. At Shane Company, our diamonds are hand-selected one by one, so they sparkle from every angle. Our gemstones shine in a full spectrum of colors, so you can choose your ideal shade. Our cultured pearls are hand-matched, so when the light hits them, they illuminate beautifully. Visit us today. We're open every day of the week. You can also set up an appointment to meet with a jewelry consultant in the store. We offer virtual appointments too. This year, find true treasures for the ones you love.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com. At Prime Mail Medical, they understand how frustrating it can be to experience difficulties in your intimate life. Their mission is to provide you with the medical care you need for improved performance.
We have helped thousands of patients with acoustic wave therapy, which increases blood flow, breaks the microplaque, and improves your ED significantly. We have virtually every medication known to man to help men. We specialize in treatments for ED and low T.
That's Dr. Robert Rowley from Prime Mail Medical.
At Prime Mail Medical, we have a 99% success rate. Most wounds can be treated in just 1 visit.
Prime Mail Medical in the East Bay and San Francisco. Get your customized evaluation for just $99, which covers a full year of free visits, including a PSA test and ultrasound. Call now, 415-761-4037, or go to PrimeMailMedical.com. That's 415-761-4037.
1877 cars for kids. KARS cars for kids. 1877 cars for kids. Donate your car today.
1877 cars for kids. KARS cars for kids. 1877 cars for kids. Donate your car today.
With car prices at an all-time high, our donors are now getting highest receipts ever. Donate at carsforkids.org, and your car can be picked up tomorrow.
1877 cars for kids. KARS cars for kids. 1877 cars for kids. Donate
accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Shop JCPenney for thousands of deals solo, no coupons needed. Through Sunday, get up to 75% off fine jewelry. Bring home Cooks and Black & Decker kitchen electrics, now $22.99, plus $10 mail-in rebate. And get Memorex home electronics starting at $27.99. We got your holiday. Offers valid on select items through 11/27. Excluded from coupons. Conditions and exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
I know a lot of you really want the State Farm personal price plan, but what's with the oversharing? Like this message Brian left me.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. I love the smell of my cat's breath. Yeah.
You don't need to get that personal. The State Farm personal price plan helps you create an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility.
This is the Steve Gorman Show. Also known as Steve Gorman Nights on 1077 The Bone.
Sounds like you've got the fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
going to do it for me for the night. There's a little bit of music left in your immediate future, but just want to say thanks for being with us. Crazy day for me. I got up this morning early, watched 3 World Cup soccer matches. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. I'm going to do it again the next day. I have entered the greatest month of my life every 4 years. I will be up to my ears in soccer, and nothing makes me happier. Teams from as far away as you can imagine all coming together to celebrate the beautiful game. I hope you'll join me on this soccer odyssey over the next month. In the meantime, you can join me tomorrow night, same place, same time, right here for Steve Gorman Rocks. Talk to you then. Cheers. 107.7 The Bone.